A delegation of Christian leaders from around the globe, including a cohort from South Africa, has arrived in Palestine to spend Christmas in Bethlehem. In a demonstration of solidarity with Palestinian Christians and all Palestinians in the region, this pilgrimage of solidarity is being organized by Kairos Southern Africa in collaboration with Kairos Palestine. For more insights on this conversation, we're joined by Bishop Ivan Abrahams, General Secretary of the World Methodist Council and former presiding bishop of the Methodist Church of South Africa. A Merry Christmas to you, Bishop, and thank you for joining us. Tell us more about this trip to Bethlehem and why.
Good evening to you and to your viewers. Our decision to go to Bethlehem was in response to a request from the Palestinian Christians to express solidarity with them. They felt that the world has forgotten about them and that Christians were generally complicit in their silence. The reason for going to the West Bank and to Bethlehem in particular was to look, to listen and to learn from the Palestinians and to amplify their voice for a ceasefire. What we heard is that many of them considered what is happening as genocide and as ethnic cleansing. And we were warmly welcomed by everyone that we met. We met with religious leaders, both Christian and Muslim. We met with leaders of civil society, including the mayor of Bethlehem. And we also met with the cousin of a person that was taken or was kidnapped by Hamas. And we were very sensitive as we heard their stories. And again, I want to say that our aim, our mission, is to identify and to amplify the voices of Palestinians.
Now, Bishop, I believe there are other ways as well that you will be amplifying their voices as well. What has been some of the reaction from the religious sector? I believe some of your peers are also taking part in fasts and all kinds of other sacrifices in solidarity with Palestine.
Besides the protest all over the world in major capitals of the world, there are fasts, there are letters that are being written to those in power and those who can make political decisions to end this war and this violence and this, what is called the genocide against Palestinians.
Now, Bishop, at this time of the year, usually there would be many Christian tourists visiting Bethlehem, but with this war that's still raging, that's not the case this year. You're there right now, Bishop. If you could just describe to us, what's the atmosphere like on this Christmas day? I'm assuming there is no Christmas spirit.
No, there's no Christmas spirit. And the theme is Jesus not in the manger, but under the rubble, Christ in the rubble. And the atmosphere is very, very tense. This morning we left Bethlehem, and as you know, there was a clampdown and bombing of certain sites, not just in Bethlehem, but in Nablus and in Jenin and in other places on the West Bank. There's a beautiful sign above the mayor's office that says, Bethlehem gave Christ, the Prince of Peace, to the world, and we ask the world to give Bethlehem peace.
And Bishop, do you find that the world is giving Bethlehem peace? You mentioned, there have been global protests all over the world, also acts from the religious sector as well, and other sectors too. But do you find that these calls, we also know that Pope Francis, even today in his Christmas message, called for immediate peace in the Middle East. Are these calls from the religious sector making any sort of a difference that you can feel?
We hope that it is going to make a difference, especially as there's going to be more traction. But at the moment, it seems as if the political will is not there, and that many of our political leaders have become tone deaf.
Well, in South Africa's regard, what are your views of how our government has responded? Because they've been quite clear on where we stand when it comes to what's happening in the Middle East and the war that's raging.
Well, I think that our political leaders have been quite courageous. The Reverend Frank Chikane is leading our delegation. And many of the folks who are part of our delegation have been part of a restless and impatient generation whose lives were shaped on the anvil of the apartheid struggle. And we feel that this is a Kairos moment, a moment in which we cannot keep silent, a moment in which we have to act, and we encourage all leaders to act.
Bishop Abrahams, you are in a volatile place right now. You're mentioning, the theme of Jesus under the rubble. We've seen the visuals, rolling coverage coming from Gaza and Palestine, all throughout Palestine, in fact, and what is happening. Do you fear at all for your own lives? Is there a sense of fear? You are also talking about bombings that are going on there still.
As I said, a lot of the folks who are part of, who are here at the moment, we have been part of the struggle for freedom in South Africa, and we have been, I think our faith has been tried and tested, and we have a free and democratic South Africa, and so we also believe in freedom for Palestinians in our lifetime, and that is what we are working towards.
What is the rest of the itinerary looking like? How long are you going to be there, and what are you hoping to achieve with this trip?
Well, tomorrow we were hoping to go to the Rafah crossing, but we haven't got permission, and also the Israeli forces have told the Egyptian forces to clear the Rafah military area, and so there's no chance of going there. We were also hoping that if we can't go there, that we would at least go to Cairo and to see some of the folks who have sought refuge and who are in hospital.
Well, good luck to you, and thank you so much for joining us. That was Bishop Ivan Abrahams, General Secretary, World Methodist Council, and former presiding bishop of the Methodist Church of South Africa.